So me and Vicky were in the hotel room. We used to play a lot of table tennis. And he said that, sir, I'm doing a film next. It's an army film. So I said, yeah, Vicky, you can always recommend my name. Na? We are doing Razi together. And, so he said, yeah, surely, sir, absolutely, I'll recommend your name. I reached Film City and whom do I see there? Mr. Manoj Bajpayee.
Wow.
That was the first time I met Manoj. We were closeted in a room.
And what was Irrfan good at?
I think he was very good at batting. And I suddenly went into his van and I said, hi Irrfan, how are you? And we hugged each other. And it was such a beautiful feeling. In hindsight, retrospect, when you think about it, you feel, we went much too early.
Still look up to him. There's something about...
I idolize Nasir Saab to no extent. Brutal honesty, frankness, and I don't think there is anything wrong in that.
I think it's his asset is the biggest asset.
People don't like it, but then that's your problem. What brings me to Dubai? Dubai has always been my favorite destination. Not because my daughters are here, both my daughters, but there is something in Dubai that brings people back to this place. Yes, and that's one point that I wanted to make here, with your permission, of course. Can I?
Manju Ramanan, and welcome to the first episode of the Majlis Show, where I'm going to meet some interesting people and speak to them about their lives, their careers, and very interestingly, I'm meeting somebody, I think, who has the kindest eyes in the world. And Mr. Shishir Sharma, who's our guest today, is someone who's, I would think, is a combination of strength and kindness. So I'm talking about his roles. So basically, I think that his roles have been of, largely about army men and doting dad. Now, where will you get this combination? I think this combination, allows for much love and much respect at the same time. And he is probably one of the few people who's been part of theatre, television, ads, commercials, films, web series, and theatre again. So
and voiceovers.
And voiceovers. So welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much.
It is a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank
you. What brings you to Dubai?
Thank you so much. First of all, let me say that it's a pleasure, and always a pleasure to meet you, whether it be for a podcast, whether it be for a lunch in Khaugali, whether it be anything. I mean, it really doesn't matter as long as one meets you. And I always look forward to meeting you, because that's one thing that I've always done whenever I've come to Dubai or plan to come to Dubai, is to send you a message that I am coming to Dubai. Whether we can meet or not is another matter. But you always make time for me. And
you always make time to meet.
Thank you so very much. What brings me to Dubai? Dubai has always... been my favorite destination, not because my daughters are here, both my daughters, but there is something in Dubai that brings people back to this place. Relaxation, sereneness at home, have a beer in the afternoon, have a drink in the night, and I think that is what I always look forward to, because Mumbai has always been one city where you have to just run. And it is so fast-paced. If you are there and if you're left behind, then you are the only one to blame. So having said that, and having done so much work in the last couple of years, I thought, let's go for a break for 10 days and then rejuvenate and come back and start work. So here I am in Dubai.
Tell me about your childhood and your parents. Your mother's worked with Amir Khan and she's been an actor.
Yes.
Tell me about your parents and their association with the performing arts.
My father was the Treasurer General Secretary of IPTA Mumbai. And he was a force to reckon with as far as theatre was concerned. But unfortunately, he could not carry on the theatre scene because of business. He was also doing business. And I consider him to be a self-made man. Not because he's my father, but the way he worked and the way he brought us up, the way he handled 5 people in a one-room kitchen kind of house, that was commendable. And he was a traveling salesman. So my mother also then started working with IPTA. Of course, she did her first play with Pandit Satyadev Dubey in the year 1962.
Who trained you eventually?
Yes. It was a play called Tota Maina. But more importantly, my father was also a party member at that time. So he worked with the likes of Kafi Azmi, R.M. Singh, A.K. Hangal, M.S. Satyu. Just to retract, because I took M.S. Satyu's name, Garam Hawa was a film that was partly financed by my dad.
Wow. And it was recently restored.
Yes. With FFC at that time, Film Finance Corporation. Now it has become NFDC.
Okay.
But he and Satyu were very, very thick and very, very close. So he decided that he wanted to do something in life and produce a film. 1, because of Satyu, 2, because of Mr. Balraj Sahni. He had his ideologies, I think they crossed paths with IPTA, and he started a group called the Jew Arts Theatre.
Okay.
Jew Arts Theatre had Balraj Sahni there, had Tahir Hussain, Amir Khan's father. That's where my mother worked with Tahir in a play called Kabuliwala. Balraj Sahni was like a foster father to me. They used to rehearse in a school on the ground floor, and we used to sit on the first floor. And he did fantastic films, as all of us know. So my father could not continue with theatre, but then he decided that he will do business and let my mother carry on with her passion. And it really fueled her passion to such an extent that she acted till the time she actually went deaf in 1 year. It became quite embarrassing because when you get onto the set, the director says something to you and you don't understand what is being said. And you don't want to ask somebody because of the embarrassment that it may cause. So she continued to do, and it kept asking me, should I carry on? I said, no, Ma, I don't think you should. Very, very politely. I didn't want her to get, in any way...
Flustered.
Flustered. And I didn't want her to
it's
feel...
It's her passion.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't want her to feel I am now good for nothing.
Yeah.
That kind of feeling. So both of us, me and my wife, both of us told her...
And it erodes you when you see your parent deteriorate.
Completely. Right? We'll come to that later.
Yeah.
But so they started off theatre. I started off theatre when I was 19, 1974, 75, with a play called Sambhog Se Sannyas Tak. Pandit Satyadev Dubey was...
And he's the one who spotted you and told you that I will make you an actor. So tell me about that story.
Yes. We were having lunch at Ratna's house one afternoon. Me, Ratna and Sunil Shanbag. And the door opened and in walks this gentleman. He looks at me and he says, because Ratna and Dubey knew each other, Sunil and Dubey knew each other. I was the only outsider. So he says, "Tum acting karoge?" I said, "Mujhe acting nahi aati. I'm very happy here." Because I never acted in school. I was a very shy person. Now you're coming to my childhood, so let me start with that. I went to school when I was 6, to a school called Rishi Valley.
Okay. J. Krishnamurthy.
Yeah, J. Krishnamurthy Foundation. And never could make friends easily because I was very shy. I kept to myself. जो भी दोस्त बने वो बन गए. Then, of course, slowly as I grew older, that inhibition of the shyness
It
broke.
left. But you were all the time you were in the same school.
I was there in Rishi Valley for 8.5 years. I came back. I'm still looking for the answer as to why I came back and why I wrote that letter to my dad that I want to come back. And he said, yeah, surely come back. And I didn't.
So you wrote a letter to your dad.
Yeah,
saying that.
I wrote a letter to my dad saying that I want to come back. I don't know whether I was homesick or whether I was missing my parents or I don't know. I mean, after having spent 8.5 years in a school like Rishi Valley, I don't think a student would want to come back.
Yeah, because mainstream is more disturbing.
Yeah, definitely more. And people used to ask me, Manju, that you're going to a school like Rishi Valley. Will you be able to cope with the outside world?
Yeah, because it's a bubble.
Yeah. And it's a small,
Yeah.
it's an environment that you need to break.
Right.
And most of the students from Rishi Valley have broken that barrier.
Yes.
Have gone on to make
Fabulous history,
stuff.
yeah.
And yeah, absolutely. They're working in MNCs. They're doing all sorts of things.
Yes.
And we have a group of Rishi Valley students on WhatsApp. And everybody's doing very, very well for themselves. So I came back to Mumbai. He got me admission in Bombay Scottish, another prestigious school in Mumbai. I studied there for 2 years. I did a lot of sports. I was a school captain for cricket, school captain for table tennis. So I dabbled with a lot of sports as well. Jack of all trades was master of none. But it didn't hamper my studies in any way. So I went to college, wanted to go to Narsimunji, but couldn't go because of the cutoff, percentage and all that. So then I got admission as a sportsman in Lala Lajpat Rai, which is in Wadli, Haji Ali actually. And
So were you a keen student or
No, I wasn't.
theatre was
No,
more
I
interesting?
wasn't. And I want to say that on camera for the very first time that I was not a very good student in academics. I just about scraped through. Even in my college, scraped through. But yes, I don't have my degree as yet. And everybody makes fun of me. Shishir, you don't have your degree. How can you say that you're a graduate? So I said, it doesn't really matter. I mean, today graduates
It doesn't matter.
are
Nothing
still
does.
languishing at home. So it really doesn't matter.
Yes.
So theatre happened
Because of that meeting.
because of that meeting with Dubeji. And from there on, I think it was just...
So when you faced the audience for the first time, were you scared?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what. See, when you're on stage, you do see an audience in front of you.
It's dark.
It's dark. So you don't want to see a face which is,
Familiar.
known to you. I have always done that, and I always advocate that policy to actors. Do not, please, look at somebody for the first time that you're going on stage. And if you know somebody, just move away from that face. Look above that face so that you're actually looking into wilderness. Because
It
the
can be
lights are-
distracting.
Yeah, it can be very, very distracting. So when I went on first time on stage, and Nasir Saab was also there in the play, Ratna was also there in the play. So there were a host of other actors, and we were shitting bricks because we didn't know. I mean, it was a difficult play to do, and that language that Dubeji writes. So
The Hindi is...
Hindi and the chest Hindi, it's
Yeah.
not the
Yeah, it's
colloquial
not-
Hindi that
yes.
we speak. And he was very good. I mean, he was Pandit Satyadev Dubey.
जी.
So हम लोग ने वो पहला शो किया रंग मंदिर में, which was in Bandra, which was an open air theatre.
Did your mother come to see it?
Yeah, of course.
And she hid herself?
Yes, I mean,
You told her don't sit on the front row.
I told her, please do not sit there. I don't want any familiar faces there because this is the first time I'm getting on stage. As it is, we are shitting bricks, nervousness to no extent,
Right.
butterflies in your stomach. But yes, all actors do have butterflies, and I think that is extremely necessary for people to have the butterflies in your
Yes,
stomach.
otherwise you're just complacent about it, right?
And you're so overconfident
Yes,
that,
yes.
you can...
have to have the fear to...
Well, for anything, whether you go
Yes.
for an examination or whether you
a
run a
podcast.
100-meter sprint,
Yes.
anything. You go in front of the camera for the first time.
You don't go smug.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, true.
And you can't. You shouldn't.
shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
Right.
So that kind of broke the ice as far as my shyness was concerned. My public appearances were concerned, and it was
And validation from peers, right?
yeah, great validation. And Nasir Saab was there, of course. At that time, he was an accomplished actor.
Yeah.
We were doing it for the very first time, so
Yeah.
we really did not know.
You still look up to him. There's something
Oh yes,
about
I idolize Nasir Saab to no extent.
what is it about him? He's very brutally frank about what he speaks, and his book is like a piece of literature. Anyone,
is.
it could have been written by someone who's. When you look at it, when you read it, you feel that this is a literateur who's written it.
Absolutely.
And
I mean,
so much love for theatre.
so much. I mean, I have not seen anyone with so much love for theatre. I think Amrish Puri was the only one before him who had that kind of attachment to theatre, and he would do anything for theatre. So is Nasir Saab. I mean, talking about his brutal honesty, frankness, and I don't think there is anything wrong in that.
I think it's his asset is the biggest asset.
People don't like it, but then that's your problem.
Right.
If you
We
don't
were
like
talking
it,
about uncomfortable conversations just before we came in here. And I think it's so important to have them. And it's so important to also address issues that people usually, out of politeness, sweep under the table.
correct. And I think that is Nasir Saab's strength, as far as I'm concerned, that he is so brutally frank about anything and everything in this world. It is just not politics. It is not what... It is also probably the way he came into theatre, he came into acting, his problems with his father at that time, so if I can say so. So I think it is necessary to bring out whatever there is within you.
And this is an art form which is very brutally frank. What
Absolutely.
you are is what
Absolutely.
people will see of you.
And I think it is necessary. You can't hide everything under the carpet.
Right.
And I think you should not, because at some point of time,
It'll come out.
you're going to get caught by someone,
Right.
whether it be a podcast, whether it be a conversation, whether it be something in a party where you by chance or by mistake say something which later on you regret.
Right.
So I think it is necessary just to be the way you are,
Right.
rather than pretend to be
Who you are.
who you are.
Right. True. I think it goes for all professions in the world.
Everything. I mean,
But
it's-
today you don't see that, right?
you hardly see it.
So tell me about that. When you see actors who pretend more than what they are, what is your reaction?
I feel...
And what is your advice to them?
No, but I always tell actors to be truthful to yourself. Not only in your profession, but also in your personal lives.
Right.
Be frank. Talk if you have to. Even if you have to confide into someone, but bring it out. Don't keep things within yourself, because that is going to harm you at a later stage.
True.
And that is going to affect your performance as an actor. Whether it be on stage or whether it be in front of the camera, it doesn't really matter. But I think you have to be brutally frank about yourself, truthful to yourself. Frankness, I think, is of prime importance for an actor.
Right.
Come out. Doesn't worry.
So
I know
that means you're actually battling fear.
yeah,
and
you are.
insecurity.
But sometimes you may not like what I'm saying, but that's your problem, not mine, because I want to get it out of my system.
Right.
And if I get it out of my system, I feel, okay, fine, I have spoken today and I'm happy about it.
Right.
I can go back home and say, I spoke about this. They may not like it,
Right.
but I'm
You
being
expressed
what
yourself.
I am. And I've expressed whatever I want to.
Right. And now tell me, after theatre now, how did you get into television and what happened? That journey.
That journey,
Swabhiman being one
Yeah.
of the prime...
the first show that I ever did, we were rehearsing for a play in Bandra East, it's a place called Chetna College. And there's a gentleman by the name of Mr. Vinod Rangnath who was writing Swabiman with Shobha Day. And he told me, Shishir, 25 एपिसोड का रोल है, तू करेगा क्या? नेगेटिव है. बोले नेगेटिव है, पॉजिटिव है, मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, आई एम एन एक्टर. जा उससे मिल ले कल. I said I went and met them, and they said, okay, come tomorrow and come to Film City. We'll give you a scene, and that's it. I said, okay. I reached Film City, and whom do I see there? Mr. Manoj Bajpayee.
Wow.
That was the first time I met Manoj. We were closeted in a room. One scene, he had done theatre with Barry John. I had done theatre with Pandit Satyadev Dubey. And I said, how many times are we going to do the same scene in one room here? Forget it. We left it. At 5 o'clock in the evening, I think we got a call from Mr. Mahesh Bhatt, who was there, who's always there when there are new actors. And they've always given only one scene to new actors. Because in case they don't like that scene, then
it can be scrapped.
It can be scrapped, or obviously some other actors will come and do it. So we went there, and by 5:30, I think we were out of that place because there was a 3-camera setup. And Mahesh ji said, okay, fine, जाओ. चले गए. हमने उनसे पूछा अब क्या? He said, हम आपको रात को फोन करेंगे. If you're there, not there, we'll let you know in the night. I said, okay. So I told Manoj, I said, listen, Manoj, if you get to know, please call me. If I get to know, I'll call you. Both of us called each other, and both of us said, we're there. So Manoj played my right hand in Swabiman till a particular point. And वो 25 एपिसोड शायद मैंने कुछ 525 एपिसोड कर लिए. KD Saxena became a household name. In fact, all the names in Swabiman became household names.
Because television was booming.
Television just about started.
Yeah.
Shanti was the one that,
Yeah, Mandira Bedis.
started television, and there was only one channel at that time. So we all were there, all of them, all of us are now Swabimanas, or from the Swabiman stable of television. And there was Rohit, there was Manoj, there was Ashutosh, there was Harsh, there was Kumud, there was
everyone that
Deepak
you see
Parashar,
today.
Kittu Gidwani, Anju Mahendru.
She had a serial called The Air Hostess at that time,
And of course, then Plus Channel did a lot of other work also. They did a English one called A Mouthful of Sky.
Yes.
Swabiman, of course, was their flagship show, which went on to doing about, I think, 900 odd episodes.
900 episodes. So how did you feel from the theatre scene to facing the camera and a long serial like this? How did life change?
Life changed because suddenly, one never stopped doing theatre.
It was always there.
वो कहते हैं ना कि एक बार वो कीड़ा घुस जाता है तो वो बाहर निकलना बहुत मुश्किल है. You can leave theatre, but theatre will not leave you. So that, I think, was a turning point in most of our lives, doing television, facing the camera for the first time. But it was a 3-camera setup, so it was like talking.
Yeah.
Right. Like you and me are talking, one camera there, one camera here, one camera in the middle, and that's it.
Yeah.
So वो scene बहुत जल्दी खत्म हो जाता था. And it was not intimidating as far as I was concerned to face the camera. It was more intimidating getting on stage and facing a live audience.
Right.
Because you don't get a second chance.
Right. And it's easier for you to face the camera, what do you think, if compared to theatre?
Yeah, it felt easier to face the camera because you, at the back of your mind, you knew that at some particular point, if you have to make a mistake or you do make a mistake, there's always a chance to do something Again.
Also, do you then think that theatre actors make better film actors?
I think so. Because of the kind of training, the kind of discipline that theatre actors have and will always have. And I think it is a must for any actor, any young actor who's wanting to be an actor or aspiring to be an actor, must go through theatre for at least 5 to 7 years. And intensive theatre. And I'm not talking about just being there. I'm talking about being on stage, getting to face the audience. but being disciplined as an actor. You come there on time, nobody will say anything to you. You can't miss a rehearsal. You can't miss even 5 minutes of a rehearsal. If you are asked to come there at 9, be there at 10 to 9 and not
Right.
at 9:10. So I think that is
That you see
extremely...
missing in
Sorry?
a lot of, you see that missing in a lot of people.
I see that missing, and I've seen that missing in a lot of actors. At least in the early stages of my acting career, I saw a lot of them taking advantage of the fact that they were playing the leads in the television shows, so they were given the liberty
to come late.
to come
The
late.
star
Or they
systems.
thought they were given the liberty to come late, and that's why they came late.
Right.
So I did not accept that. I used to keep telling the directors, but the director said, "So we can't do anything about it." Okay, you can't do anything about it. Don't do anything. But I'm going to be there, but I will leave
At
at
time.
the dot of 9. Don't ask me to stay there 10 minutes or half an hour. Sir, ye khatam nahi hua, wo khatam nahi hua, wo late aaya. Nothing of that. I'm not going to stay back. So I think discipline,
You also set your boundaries very clearly.
absolutely. Absolutely. And they should understand that we have set our boundaries. We should not be taken for granted as
at
actors.
any given point. Also, since we're talking about theatre and actors, we cannot but talk about Irrfan.
Yes.
And you played cricket with him.
I played cricket with him. Well, we used to play cricket in the same ground. It was the Indian Airlines ground in Santa Cruz East. And he was playing for another team. I was playing for a team called the MCC, which is known in the longer format. It's called Match Cut Club. Match Cut Club. As you know, in films, you match cut every frame. So that is why it was called Match Cut Club. And there was Nasir Saab, there was Tom Walter.
So what was your speciality? What?
I started bowling off breaks.
Okay.
I don't know. In school I used to bowl fast, but then I think as age went by, I converted myself into an off spinner. So yes, Irrfan used to come there, and we used to play. Sometimes we had chai together after practice.
And what was Irrfan good at?
I think he was very good at batting.
Okay.
I think he specialized in that.
And you worked together.
And I worked together. Before I worked together with him in Talwar, I did 2 commercials with him. One was shot by Shimit Amin. And I suddenly went into his van and I said, "Hi, Irrfan, how are you?" And we hugged each other. And it was such a beautiful feeling. And now, of course, in hindsight, retrospect, when you think about it, you feel, we went much too early.
His loss felt very personal to all of us, I think.
Fantastic.
He touched everyone's heart.
Talwar was the icing on the cake as far as I'm concerned, because I think that was one of the best films ever made.
And that's again brings us back to Meghna Gulzar.
Yes.
And
I have always advocated this policy, Manjuji, that anyone who wants to work with Meghna Gulzar must do it irrespective of anything else on their mind. Just go and work with that woman. She is brilliant in the real sense of the word.
okay.
She's so good. And Talwar, I think, was the icing on the cake, because she had come back after a sabbatical of, I think, 4.5 years. And to do a story of that kind.
Such a sensitive
very
story.
sensitive, high-profile case, thin line, thin thread that you're treading on.
Blame and not blame and so many
But
things.
there were no sides taken, and I think
I
both
think that
of
was
them...
the beauty
yes,
of the writing as well.
Vishal and Meghna ji took that consciously not to take any sides, and obviously why. So that's why it was a 3-pronged viewpoint of Talwar. That's where I come in.
So when I remember speaking to Irrfan about this, this was at the Abu Dhabi Film Festival when he had come. Heather had just released around the same time, I think, or before or after. Just before. And I remember asking him, and he said, "My next film is Talwar." So I said, "Oh, it's based on this case." And I said, "Are you playing the dad?" So he says, "No, I'm the cop."
Yeah.
So
And he was so good as the cop. He was so... In fact, that entire film, right from the very first frame that you see in that film to the very last frame that you saw in the film, I think it was... What should I say? जैसे बोलते हैं ना, मक्खन जैसे वो बिल्कुल film चली गई. And to see that kind of a film happen for a director who's come back
Yeah.
after 4 years, and a sensitive story like that. Obviously, people are going to say, "Acha, आपने ये नहीं बताया, आपने वो नहीं बताया. Why didn't you conclude the film with a conclusion?"
Yeah.
Which is what
Because
we would
it's
not.
open, it's
Yeah.
an open to interpretation kind of a
Unfortunately,
thing.
we
Yeah.
didn't want to do that. I mean,
Right.
and we were very happy, of course. Neeraj and Konkana and every. I mean, it was a film to debut with Meghna ji was a dream come true.
And then, of course, we
I
have
was woken up at 7 o'clock in the morning by Hani Treyan, who was casting for the film.
Okay.
And he said, Shishir, get to Meghna ji's office by 9 o'clock. I said,
So in 2 hours.
it's only 7 o'clock, man. Why are you calling me so? He said, no, just get there. Okay. I got there and she looked at me and she said, okay, sit. Sat.
This is the first time you've ever met her.
First time.
You
First
met
time.
her also.
Met her.
Okay.
And she said, yeah, so this is the character, this is that, and all that. Okay, please see the costumes. Please go try the costume. I said, what's happening? To myself. Ho gaya kya ye? So she said, yeah, try the costume. Let's see. Okay, fine. You're looking good. Okay. Yeah, come. So
That's it.
this is the script. I said, whoa. Have I got the part? So, yeah, she said, yes, we're going to be shooting in so and so days. And so I said, great, fantastic. So we shot my first day was in that hotel called Renaissance in Powai. And we shot there. We shot the climax scene in a room. It was a 1.5 page or 2 page scene. And we shot that. We finished that scene. They saw it and they scrapped that scene. So Vishal rewrote the scene with Meghna ji. Became a 13-page scene, which we shot later on, much later, in, I think, Marriott or something like that.
I'll watch the film again to see that scene again.
It was that table scene.
Yeah.
And it was a masterclass in acting as far as I was concerned. Because Irrfan was there, Prakash Balewadi was there, Atul Kumar was there. So it was an ensemble of people. And
From theatre.
everybody from theatre. Which was the beauty of that scene. Because Meghna ji said, I'm going to say cut and I'm going to say action.
The rest you manage. And she was so sure because she brought together
Brilliant.
stalwarts.
Absolutely brilliant. 2 cameras. And it was so good. That whole... it was an experience that for me, will never be able to get out of my system.
And then we have to get to Razi now.
Yes,
which
Razi.
was your next, which is a very deciding film in your career, though you have had a very illustrious career.
Yes.
But Razi ke baad kuch badla.
Razi ke baad bahut kuch badal gaya. People started looking at me as an actor. No, but I think Razi was a turning point in my life professionally. And I felt very confident after having done Razi. And what I am today is the confidence that is brought about by doing films like Talwar, like Razi, Uri, Dangal, Chichore. And Meghna ji cast me. Of course, after Talwar, I kept calling her up. I kept telling her that, I want to work with you, She said, Shishir sir, when there is a role for you, I will get in touch. Okay. And one fine afternoon, I get up and I see my phone and there's Meghna Gulzar's missed call. I call her up and I ask my wife, I said, just pinch me here. Is this Meghna ji's actual call or what? She said, yes, I'm on a recce, but go and meet Yogi ji and he will explain the film to you. I said, okay. I went, met him, came back. And so there I was sitting in Karan Johar's office, working out the details and the nitty-gritties of doing that character that she has asked me to do. I kept looking at videos of Pakistani generals and how they speak and how they talk. And uncannily, I don't know, I find it rather uncanny that it just turned out to be the way I looked. It was what Ziaul Haq looked. But it was completely, I don't think there was anything that was
But the character is also very gentle.
Yeah, very gentle. And I think the film itself was a very humane film.
Right.
Although it was Pakistan and although it was India, but there are Pakistani who are also very humane. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
No, it was a beautiful depiction of the fact that, especially your character was so unaware of what is happening.
yeah, what is happening?
And he's just accepting a woman
Yeah.
who into his family who's a friend across the border,
Correct.
his daughter.
Absolutely.
He has no idea about the planning and the agenda. In fact,
No.
he's the more vulnerable part of it. Because
Absolutely.
he's the one to lose a lot
Absolutely.
of stuff. But I think that softness was a very important part of. You also felt for that
Yeah,
character.
you also felt. I think a lot of people felt for the character that I played, General Syed and Brigadier Syed. And the kind of family, the army family that was shown, for example, at the dining table,
Yes.
was a family, was an army family, was the authority.
Yeah.
There was a lot of power in this man. When he was sitting at the table, you could make out.
Right.
I can still make out when I see the film or when I see that particular sequence, I can still make out that this man has a lot of power.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's also very
Soft.
loving.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's very soft to his
Yeah.
to his sons, to his daughter-in-laws.
Yeah.
And I think that was
So that brings me to the next question about the fact that you've done a lot of men in uniform roles, a lot of armed forces roles that you've done. And you've also done doting dad and, other kinds. So there is a very beautiful mix of the soft and the tough. So tell me first about the army men roles. There's discipline.
I don't know. I think it's my persona. And as we were talking before I
Yeah.
came in here, the discussion
Yeah.
about comic roles. But I think it was my persona that people thought that, I should be a disciplinarian.
Yeah.
I should be a principal. I should be a strict father. I
Yeah.
should be, that guy who twirls his mustaches up. And the army men. So I don't know. People say that you look very good in an army uniform.
Costume.
So it just so happened that when you do films like that,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're typecast.
Right.
I don't like the word typecast because
No, each of the roles are different.
different.
It's not like it's one
it's
like
not.
the other.
It's just not doing
No.
A police officer every
Yeah.
damn film that you get.
Yeah.
These were different generals. These were different, caliber.
Yeah.
They're different armies. So you have to work it out differently. And when we were shooting for Razi, it's a very interesting story. We were not allowed to shoot in Patiala because of certain political events that took place. So me and Vicky were in the hotel room in the hotel. We used to play a lot of table tennis, and he said that, "Sir, I'm doing a film next. Is an
okay.
army film." So I said, "Yeah, Vicky, you can always recommend my name, na? We're doing
Doing
Razi
things
together."
together.
And so he said, yeah, surely, sir, absolutely, I'll recommend your name. I said, okay, fine. We left the conversation, finished Razi, came back. I was shooting in Mud Island. I was coming back home. Just before I turned into my lane in Andheri, there was a call. So can you come right now? We're casting for a film and Aditya Dhar wants to meet you. And I said, okay, I'll come. So I went there, said, this is the part. And I said, is this the same film that Vicky is doing? He said, yeah, Vicky is the hero. I said, oh, damn. Look how things happen. I mean, if they happen, they have to happen.
Right.
So, yeah, there I was doing the army man again, and it was the Indian Army General. So, yeah, I think it is my persona
Right.
that brings me
But you
to
also
these
like to
kind-
break it.
I want to break it. I definitely want to break this.
And comedy has been one of the genres you've dabbled into as well, which people don't know. But I'm sure.
I want to dabble in it much
More.
more because I think I have a great sense of timing. At least when we are sitting with friends and all that, I definitely do have a great sense of timing. But I don't know. I mean, people have probably not seen that in me. But I've done roles like What the Folks,
Yeah.
for example,
Yeah.
where I've played a father.
Yes.
And I played a father.
And a son.
Yeah,
It's
and
kind of a-
father-son
father-son
relationship was fantastic. I have done Permanent Roommates, again, a show that, gave me the opportunity to do something
Lighter.
other than being just a strict disciplinarian or a principal or a father who's very strict with
But are you
his.
like that in real life?
No, I'm not.
You're not
But
strict.
I was completely. I knew that my children had to be disciplined. They needed to. That's why they went to Rishi Valley too.
They went to Rishi Valley
Both
too.
of them went to
And
Rishi
they didn't
Valley.
write a letter back to
No,
you.
they didn't write a letter. They finished. My elder daughter finished 10th. My younger daughter finished 12th and came back. And they are what they are today. They are so disciplined. They are so meticulous in their work. And I think that is what a boarding school actually teaches you.
Self-reliance as well, right? You
I know. I tell a lot of parents who have 2 children or who even have 1 child, send the child to boarding school. I'm telling you, it will
change their lives.
Change their lives. They will become better human beings. Not that they are not, or not that they will not become better human beings if they're with you, but you will give them an independence.
Right.
To do certain things in their own way rather than being pushed all the time. Rishi Valley was one school where there was no examination of any kind.
Right.
The first examination that took place was in the 9th standard.
Wow.
Which was the mock examination for the 10th. So there were periodic tests which happen anyway. And we went on like that. And my children also went on like that. They became fantastic human beings. They were very disciplined.
So are you outnumbered by the women in your house?
Yeah, I am completely
And are you
outnumbered.
bullied?
I was. I told this, I particularly read out this question in the morning to my wife and she laughed. I said, why are you laughing? Yes, you can't help but being bullied, but it was okay. They bully
You agreed
me.
to be bullied.
Yeah, they bully me even now, but it's all in jest.
And your grandchildren, tell me about them.
4 of them.
Boys, girls?
The elder daughter has 1 boy, 1 girl, 10 and 6. The younger one has a boy and girl again.
So you have...
I have 4 biological grandchildren, but I also have a 13-year-old girl who stays with us, who's the house help's daughter. The house help has been with us now for 26 years. She was a Bengali who came from 24 Parganas in West Bengal. Didn't know a word of any other language other than Bengali, and so it became very difficult. But as years went by, we gave her 10,000 rupees and said, okay, now go and do a beautician's course.
So you empowered.
Manju, she went and did a beautician's course. She had her own clientele.
Wow.
She used to go to people's houses. People used to come home if they had to do their eyebrows, for example. And she created a
Small
niche for
ecosystem
herself.
for herself.
Yeah. So she had a daughter who was born in our house in 2010. And since then, they've been with us.
Amazing.
So this is the eldest of the 5 grandchildren, accepted by each and every one in the house, in the family, the extended family as well. And she's 13 years of age now.
Amazing.
And she's beautiful. She was here last year, 2021, just before Dubai closed borders.
Yes.
So we brought her here, brought her mother also here. They stayed with us.
Okay.
They stayed with Dia. So and we're very proud of the fact that she is our
Your child.
eldest granddaughter. And sincerely, it's not because I'm on camera, but I feel that
What is her name? And
Arpita,
Okay.
she is 13 years. She's tall. She's 5'4" or 4.5. She's tall. She's slim. She plays basketball.
Okay.
She's got long legs. So I'm glad. And she's grown up to be a beautiful child.
Fabulous. Okay, so I'm sure you offered thousands of roles. And do you say no more often than you say yes?
Yes. It all depends on what kind of a character it is, how meaty the role is, where I stand in the film as the character. Who is directing the film? I'm not concerned as to who's acting in the film, but
Right.
I am definitely more concerned as to who's going to be directing and going to be, the captain of the ship. Most of the times I find myself accepting the roles because they are not the kind of roles that would be given
Yeah.
just because it's me.
Right. But have you said no to some? What are the things that we'll never see you in? What are the roles that
You'll never see me dancing around.
Yeah, I never asked you that question.
I
I've
have
never
two
seen
left feet, so I'm not going to be dancing around. That is one thing that I will not do in a commercial film.
Okay.
I don't know how to fight.
Okay.
I did one
You
Telugu.
don't know how to fight,
No,
but you
means,
played all tough
yeah.
characters all
I
your
don't know
life.
how to, they do those kind of...
Yeah, the stunts,
The
you know.
stunts. Because I did a Telugu film and...
Yes. Nani, yeah.
much my
Before.
Malayalam film,
Okay.
where I did a role of a Hindi-speaking character.
Okay.
But Suresh Gopi was supposed to come and bang me and hit me and all that. So he said, Shishir, don't be worried, I'm not going to do that. But I said, I don't know how to do it, man. Suppose you actually hit me and then I really get hit, then what do I do? Because I need to duck and all that. So I don't know those kind of techniques.
Okay.
And I will definitely not do that kind of stuff. Definitely no dancing around. Dancing around, not around trees, but no dancing at all.
Okay.
So, but otherwise, I'm okay. I'm open to...
What about a romance? Have you been
I have
offered
never
some?
done, but there was a film that I did called Cobalt Blue,
Ah, yes.
which was a film again. There was a scene where I was supposed to romance Geetanjali Kulkarni. The director comes up to me and says, Shishir, you have to do this. I said, yeah, please, don't embarrass me, man. I will not be able to do it. So Geetu comes up and says, Shishir, it's only me. I said, Geetu, it really doesn't matter, but I'm supposed to do that, no? The action has
Yeah.
to be done.
Right.
So she said, don't worry. And Sachin Kundalkar, the director, also said, she said, don't worry. Everything will be fine. And he spoke this in Marathi and all that. So I said, listen, can we just avoid it? He said, no.
Part of the script.
It's part of the script. There's an intimacy coordinator also on set. I said, oh, man. No. Manju, I had one sleepless night. Because they said, we're going to shoot it tomorrow. And they were prepping me, they were prepping us as to what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to enter the room and where she is and what she... Oh, man. So I went back home and I lay down and I said, oh, how am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to do this? And next morning when I reached the set, he says, oh, we have to do this in the afternoon, okay? Okay, fine. Then as the afternoon approaches, he says, I want both of you in my van. I said, okay, we'll come. Then he breaks the news that we have dropped this scene. Manju, you
have prayed. This is a prayer that
you
came
have
true.
no idea how I just, sank into that chair and I said, thank you so very much. So yeah, I would feel awkward in doing those kind of scenes. I have never done them.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, talking romance, giving a hug, it doesn't bother me at all. I'd love to do that because I am generally like that in normal life as well, with women and with men. So it doesn't really matter. There's no gender preference here.
Right.
But I am that kind of a person. I mean, I am loving, I am outgoing, I love to meet people, I love to talk to them. And that confidence has come about only because one day Dubeji said, you have to go and speak to 200 people in Prithvi about a Marathi play. I'm not coming, you have to go. So I said,
you have to speak in Marathi?
No, I spoke in Hindi.
Achha. About a Marathi
About a Marathi play that he had directed. He said, I'm not coming, you have to go. That is where I think I broke ice with
the
talking
audience.
and talking publicly.
Right.
After which, then I started speaking publicly, went to schools, went to colleges, went to universities in Baroda to speak to students.
Baroda, that's my hometown.
Yeah, really. I went to Parul University in Baroda, where I spoke to 2,000 students.
Oh, okay.
And that gave me a hell of a lot of confidence. So I think I have no qualms about doing that. Coming to the question of as to what is the kind of role that I would love to do, which I have not done as yet, is playing a blind man.
Ah, okay.
Just like what Nasir Saab played in
Yeah,
Sparsh.
in Sparsh.
But I'd like to play a blind man without glasses. And I think that is a great challenge to play without glasses and still look blind. At times, yeah, you can use those glasses, but that is I
It's a
think
prop.
it's a prop, and I don't want to hide myself behind a prop. I want people to actually
See you the way you are.
the blind
Yeah.
in me.
So, with so much of cinema and content happening, is there a crossover to Hollywood on the cards? Have
I
you been
did
offered?
I did a Hollywood film. It was called The Second Best Exotic Marigold Hotel
Oh, yes, I've seen it. Yeah.
with John Madden, and we had probably the best that you could find in Hollywood. There was Maggie Smith, there was
Yes.
Dame Judi Dench, there was
Yes.
Richard Gere, there was Bill
And
Nye.
it was in India, shot
And
in
it was
India.
in India. There was Dev Patel and Avantika Kerkar, myself, Tina. I played Tina's father in that. There, we were supposed to dance. And on Jhoom Barabar Jhoom.
Yeah.
So John said, there is not a single actor who is going to be sitting. Everybody has to be on stage. And you don't know how much I've practiced for that, man. I went completely berserk. And I used to tell Sid Makkar, who played my son, I used to tell him, I said, Sid,
Hide
teach me
or hide
how
me.
to dance.
Okay.
And I was standing next to him.
Okay, so you had to be.
So I had to dance, man. And the camera was there. It was swinging away on those Jimmy Jibs. Two cameras, and one had to do it. Avantika also had to do it. I also had to do it. But we had to do it.
Yeah.
8 nights or 9 nights in Jaipur in the cold.
So coming out of your comfort zone is also
Very important.
Very
I think
important.
it's extremely important for an actor to come out of from their comfort zone, because
Right.
that will just make you so complacent
Yeah.
in life
Right.
that ye to theek hai, ye to baएं हाथ का खेल है. But once you start
Once you
getting
break your
those, yeah,
mold all the time.
once you get those kind of roles which do not give you the
The lenience.
or the comfort
Yeah.
of just playing an army officer, and suddenly you have to do something which is comic.
Yeah.
Or say those lines in a comic way, not make those expressions of facial,
Right.
So that I think is extremely important for an actor to get out of.
Right. One question I always wanted to ask, I think I ask this to most artists, is how do you protect your inner space? As a sensitive individual, you are bombarded with stimuli across about your work, about emotions, about your state of mind, age. There's so many things. How do you protect your inner core and say that, no, this doesn't affect me. My work is important.
It has never affected me, Manju. I've always been upfront, be it age, be it the way I look, be it anything. It has never, ever affected me. And if I have to be upfront, I want to be upfront, I will be upfront. There are certain things that you don't want to say to others, which you keep
Out of
within,
politeness.
which you keep within yourself, because you have to see the kind of place that you are in,
Exactly.
whom you are talking to, whether
And
it
how
be
important or dear that relationship
yeah,
is.
absolutely. And I don't want to spoil any relationship.
Right.
I tell people, when I go to offices, if they say, sorry, sir, it's okay, no problem. At least I have the opportunity of calling you and saying, let us have a cup of tea.
Exactly.
I don't want any kind of animosity. I don't want a barrier between you and me. I want to be able to send you a message and say, Manjuji, I'm coming. I don't want you to feel, damn, yeah, this guy is coming again. I don't want to meet him. How do I say no? That feeling
Should not
not come.
Right.
And that is where I think,
I think that is nurturing and building relationships. And I'm sure you have friends from many, many years. That's
oh
why.
yes.
And
So
you
where-
nurture them.
Yeah, I don't think I have a friend who will say or pretend that, yes, you can come, but he actually doesn't want me to come. I don't think I have that kind of a friend.
Right.
And I don't think there are friends that I would say
That too.
no to.
Yeah.
It has to work both ways. I mean, there's
Right.
got to be a reciprocal kind of, feeling for both.
Right.
It can't be only one-sided. I don't want you to feel, and I don't want me to feel that way.
Also, today, a lot of talk is on the concept of toxicity. It
Yes.
could be male or female. Let's not gender it. How do you see cinema and content empowering both men and women?
See, I think it's completely left to the individual who is doing that kind of a project.
Right.
I don't want people to feel that, no, this is wrong and this is right. You feel it is right, do it. If you feel it is wrong, you don't care a damn.
So what I'm saying is, does cinema have a responsibility to project content in a certain way?
I think cinema
no?
does.
Or it's only entertainment?
I think, no, but if you're going to get influenced by it, then it's a different thing. But if you're not going to get influenced by it and you just see it as entertainment, then go ahead and do whatever you want. But there are people who feel that cinema is influencing their children, for example.
Right.
You see certain kind of cinema you're not supposed to,
Right.
but you still see it. And that is probably influencing your children by the actions that, happen after having watched a particular
Or they're
film.
watching or doing
Or
playing
whatever,
games
whatever.
which are violent.
Yeah.
You never know.
So I think it is left to the individual
Yeah.
to see whether you want certain things to be seen by your children so that they do not get influenced by it, or you just leave
Or
it.
do you think that today we are becoming a very... you want everything dry cleaned and perfectly set for you without... you're trying to condition too much for your children.
I think there is a section where this happens.
Yes.
And I think
Too much of
too much of
conditioning.
conditioning, too much of saying no, 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 all
This
the
is
time.
wrong, this is
wrong,
violent, this is
yeah.
bad, this is...
So I think you have to have a broader sense.
Right.
You need to feel that, okay, if you can control your children to a certain extent, do it, but no, don't do it forcibly for them to reject what they
Right.
are
Because
doing.
I remember, for example, I grew up on the Amar Chitrakatha magazines.
Correct.
I gifted it to a few friends and some of them came and said, how violent are they?
Yeah.
I never felt that when I used to read Amar Chitrakatha.
Yeah.
But today, it is violent.
Yeah, it is.
And they're not wrong when they say it, but I never looked at it that way.
There are children who want to see only horror films, and suddenly parents say, no, 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 you should not see horror films. Let them see it. They will decide for
They will
themselves.
snap out of it
Yeah,
the
they
way-
will snap out of it. There are certain films that you don't want the children to see.
To see at a certain age, yeah.
But what is happening today is because of the kind of
Outpour
technology
of-
that
yeah.
you've got and the internet that is so easily available
Right.
that you can't control certain
Anything.
things in life.
True. Now tell me about Dubai and what is that you hold dear about Dubai.
Dubai I will always cherish my memories.
And when did you come here for the first time?
Whoa.
Do you remember?
Oh, I don't remember. No, I don't remember. But I do remember that I've come to Dubai. Not because my daughters were here, but even before that, I
Yeah.
think I have come to Dubai. And Dubai will always be one of those destinations where I'll just pick up my bag and leave and
just
come
come.
to Dubai. And I have done that twice. I've shocked the hell out of my daughters. And they said, are we actually looking at you? It's just a dream, it's a nightmare. And I just picked up my bag and opened the door and they were standing there having breakfast and they dropped everything and they said,
Papa.
no, it's not you. It's not possible. Because I've come here also to shoot for an ad film for Danube.
Yeah.
But I would come back even if there were no daughters because, I don't know, there's something that brings me back to Dubai. every
Dubai is
time.
a nice place. We all are here.
It's a beautiful place. And I think it is a fantastic place. And if you have a lot of money, Dubai is the place to be in.
Right.
But yes, even for a holiday, I think for a week, 10 days.
Even if you don't have too much money,
Yeah, even-
Dubai is a great place. to
Dubai is
be.
a great place.
We all live here, and I think it's
The multicultural.
190 nationalities.
Oh my goodness. The multicultural activities that take place here, the kind of cuisines that you have here.
Yeah, about food and you. Tell me what are your...
Oh, don't talk about
you a
food,
foodie?
Manju. I'm going to a place after this
Okay.
to Karama to eat some Calicut Paragon.
Oh,
ke
yes.
Bagal mein there's a place
Okay.
called Zane's.
Oh, what is that food?
Same.
It's like Malayalam.
Yeah, the Kerala
Kerala food?
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to eat that.
We are
and my
joining you.
My mouth is already watering. So I'm a foodie. Go to any state, eat only.
You're not vegetarian. You're not just vegetarian.
No, I eat
you
everything.
eat everything.
I eat
Okay.
everything. I go to a state and I eat the food from that state.
Particular state.
I do not. If I'm in South India, I do not
You
eat
eat Punjabi food.
Punjabi food. No,
Right.
no,
Right.
no way.
You choose to
Yeah.
eat.
I don't like paneer.
Okay.
Let me make it very clear. I eat paneer only.
But you also been raised in Andhra, right?
Yeah, I studied
Because
in
of
Rishi
the
Valley. Rishi Valley was
So do you
Andhra.
speak a little Telugu?
I used to speak Telugu. I have done Telugu films also.
Yes. And
But
you also
yes,
did a Tamil film with Madhavan
yes,
standing
yeah.
behind the
Yes.
camera.
And that was Nishikant Kamath's film.
Yeah.
It was a Marathi film which he did in Tamil called Dombivali Fast, where Madhavan played the main character. And Madhavan came there, he's standing behind the camera, saying all those words.
In Tamil.
And the sun is going down, and Nishikant is getting palpitations, and this man is not saying. So I finished the scene
Tamil.
because he wanted me to do that role even in the Marathi film.
Right.
And I could not. But
And your films have been part of festivals here, the short film.
Yes, the short film Kafas
Yes.
was a beautiful short film. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
the festival did not
got
happen.
cancelled. Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, Nasir Saab would have seen the film, and Ratna would have seen the film, and it's a great high when your peers see the film. Manoj would have seen the film if he was going to be here,
Yes.
and so Kafas was lastly very recently was selected at the Dada Saheb Phalke.
What a beautiful
2024.
film it is.
It's a beautiful film.
Is it releasing on Netflix or?
I don't know, Manju, whether
it's
Netflix takes these kind of films. I don't know
it's
whether even
beautiful.
Amazon
It's
takes
just,
it. But there's no point releasing it on other platforms because it doesn't. People don't watch. For the heck of just putting it on a platform, there's no point in doing that. You might as well keep the
It's a
film.
very artistic, beautifully
very
made.
beautifully shot film.
Yeah.
And we shot that in 2 days with time constraint, with money constraints, all sorts of constraints. And you know how independent filmmakers are.
Yes.
They want to do the best. So you give them the best. And that's one thing, that's one point that I wanted to make here, with your permission, of course. Can I make that point?
Yeah.
Working with first-time directors has always been one of my strong points. I want to work with them because they have something to give. They bring something to the table. They bring a script. They bring their intellect. They bring their energies. And I think that is one way of promoting what they want to say.
Right.
And I want to say what they want to say. So I go along with them. I did a film called Bhook, which was Bhook about various things.
Okay.
But this man's Bhook was to be with his grandchildren. And his son would not allow the grandchildren to come, although they stay, Mud Island to Kaf Parade is just about 25 kilometers.
Right.
But the son would not allow his grandchildren to
come and visit.
So there was a photo of a horse in the hall, and it's the Bhook of the horse to run.
Oh.
It's nothing else. But the film, as it starts, depicts, people get a feeling that this man is a sleazy guy because there's a woman who has come to get a job in his company. But when he says, beta, come
that's
back.
When it changes.
That's when it changes. And that's where he relates the story about how he wants his children to sit on the back and he wants to be
the horse.
So these kind of films, I mean, they may not do well.
They're meaningful.
But they're extremely appreciated by a community who knows what good cinema is. And that's why I want, and I've always done, like Kafas. Don't take any money. That's okay, fine, no problem. Bhook, no money, that's okay.
Create something
But
spectacular.
it's also a creative satisfaction for the
like
actor.
Rogan Josh that you always speak about.
Rogan Josh. I mean, working with the person that you idolize and being in the same frame, knowing him for so many years, that is what I think the director wanted.
Amazing. So thank you very much for speaking to us, and hope to see you again very soon on the Majlis Show. And what else? I mean, come back to Dubai.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me for the very first episode. I'm honored. And I look forward to actually watching this podcast whenever
we had a
it
lovely,
happens.
lovely long conversation.
Very nice, very nice. And do let me know whenever it is ready to
be aired.
To be aired. And I'd love to see it, watch it, hear it, and tell my friends to please watch it.
Yeah.
Because I've been candid. I've been what I felt should be said. And I've always done that. I mean,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
whether it's a podcast or whether it's
A conversation without cameras,
yeah,
yeah.
just over a cup of
Coffee,
tea or
yeah.
coffee or whatever. Because the first time we met, it was
Yes.
that. It was in
Mall of the Emirates, yeah.
where we had a coffee first.
Yes.
Yes, so fantastic. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.